So we have had a lot of questions in the comments below asking about specifics about our Disney Dream Cabin. So before we get into today's video, let me talk just a little bit about our Disney Dream Cabin. So when we went on our Disney Dream cruise last year, we were in cabin 6636. Grandma, Madeline, and my niece stayed in room 6634. So we had connecting rooms on deck 6, which is the deck number is the first number on your list. So 6636 means we were on deck 6. We were one deck above the lifeboats, so our veranda actually looked over where the lifeboats were, but you weren't like, really, really high up. And then also we had the plexiglass walls. We did not have the foundation walls all around the outside access of the ship. We had the plexiglass, so you could actually see through your wall whenever you were sitting down. So that's the kind of, and we also had the split bathroom that would hold up to 5 people, which means you had a queen, I think it's a queen size bed. You had the couch that converted into a bunk bed, the pull down bed, the fourth person with the queen bed, and then there was the pull down bed from the wall. I forget what those are called, but the one that comes down from the wall. There was that option available. So all of our family would have fit in one, but Grandma wanted, originally Grandma and Madeline were going to be in a room by themselves, and then we invited our niece to go with us. So Madeline could have stayed with us, but she was in another room. So it will, on a cruise, you can have up to 5 people in a room. So that was the type of room we had. It was a 5-person veranda cabin. So now let's talk about 5 of our favorite things from our Disney Dream veranda cabin. Number 5 on our list, and this is one we've had so many questions about, was how did we get the bed rail? So when you go to do your online check-in, not when you go to actually book your cruise, when you get done booking your cruise, because this is a free service. Not everybody knows that. This is a free service from Disney Cruise. You go to do your online check-in, there's an option to change your dining to either first seating or second seating, and then there's an option later on for like putting like your child's ages. Like you have to actually put if you're how old your children are. So like for, I'll just say it, for bedwetting purposes, we did have to fill that out, which none of ours have that, but it was a question you have to fill out. On there, along those lines, there is the do you need a bed rail? With it being our first time doing a trip like this ever, the last time I ever remembered her vacation with Rebecca, she was in a pack and play. So this was our first time, and she's a very active sleeper. So I said, I'll go ahead and get 2 bed rails. So I did not know at the time that the bunk beds had bed rails around them. So we went ahead and requested 2 bed rails because I didn't know that. When we arrived at our cabin, it was like 1 o'clock. They had just allowed people to start going to their cabins. I was super excited. I wanted to go see it. I wanted to look around. And then I also knew the drill was going to be, coming up later that day, and we had to already be at our cabins for that and do the drill before we did anything else. So I wanted to go ahead and check it out before, we start our day. We met our room steward. I can't remember his name, but he was so super nice, super helpful. He did a wonderful job with our room. He was like, okay, so this is how it works. And you've requested 2, but let me tell you how it works and see if you really need 2 or not. He said the lower one the couch turns into a bunk bed, and we can put the rail on that, put the youngest one there, and then the coffee table goes against the bed rail just to help hold it in place, and then we can put her there. He said the top bunk already has rails on it, but if she's never slept on a bunk bed before, on a top bunk, I'm going to go ahead and pull down the wall bed, and then if she needs a bed rail for that bed, you can let me know later and we'll get it. He was so super helpful, and it was so nice because I was like so nervous on our first cruise. And so we ended up not needing the pull down bed. So after that night, he actually never folded it back down, which we were fine with. We didn't need it folded down. In Grandma's room, they never used the top bunk because Grandma didn't want the older kids fighting over the top bunk. So Madeline and my niece actually slept on the bottom bunk of the couch, which was the couch turned into a bed, and then they slept on the pull down bed. So they never even used the top bunk at all. So that is an option for a 5-person cabin if you want it. They also do that for large with parties with older, if you have teens, because they don't usually recommend the bunk bed for like older people. But Sarah had a wonderful time on the top bunk. She never had a problem with it. So the bedroll for Rebecca, it worked out great. It was wonderful. Like I said, if you want that and you have younger children, just check it at check-in time on your online check-in, request it. If it's not there, contact your travel agent, whether it be me or any other travel agent you use, and then contact Disney and say, you know, I've heard you do a bed roll service, I would like to request one. They will work with you. Their Disney customer service for travel agents and for not, I've used both, are wonderful. They will work with you. So number 2, mine and Matt's favorite thing about the bed situations, I mean, other than the fact that each of the kids got their own bed and it was, you know, it was just so nice and it was really cool, was our bed was a little bit higher, which I don't think it was any higher than our bed at home, but it was a little bit higher, so all of our luggage, every piece of our luggage fit under the bed. It wasn't out in the room in the way. We could put the luggage under the bed every night, and it was just like so nice to not have the luggage like cramming your room full, which I thought our cabin was plenty spacious enough. We never had problems with like needing extra space in there, but it was so nice to be able to get changed and then put the luggage back under there and it be out of the way, and you know that it also be somewhere safe where it's not going to get banged up during the day. So that was our favorite thing about the beds. Like I said, it's just a little bit higher. We use the Samantha Brown luggage, and go online. There are luggage, there is a maximum size luggage that you can use for the trips, but yeah, it just slid right under and it was out of the way for the rest of the trip. Number 3 is it was one of my most tickling moments of like when we arrived. Was I knew before we got there that they were gonna have split bathrooms, so I'll explain that really quick. So in the first bathroom, when you open the door, and it's a step up on the non-accessible rooms, there is a sink and there is a toilet. And then the second door in your room is the tub / shower and the sink. There's a second sink in there. And I was just so tickled by the fact that like, oh, look at these cute little bathrooms, and they're split apart. So like when all of us were getting ready, we had 2 bathrooms to be able to use to get ready. Because I mean, usually for us, it was rush to get done with like our afternoon activities, get back, get changed, get showered and refreshed for dinner. And it was so nice being able to have those 2 bathrooms for like getting hair and stuff done over here if somebody needed to go potty while somebody else was in the shower. And it was just so nice to be able to have that space. Also, something that I haven't mentioned before was there's the bed, and then there is the like the living room / bunk bed area. There is a curtain to divide them. That also made changing so much easier, because once the girls were all showered and all that, I could divide the curtain, and then while I was getting them dressed and hair fixed and all that in the living room part, if I fixed their hair in there, Matt could shower and get dressed in the cabin, that half the cabin, without, you know, any interference. And it was so nice having that curtain to divide the room into 2. Number 2, I've already mentioned this, was the pull down bunk bed. There are several things I love about it. Like I said, for number 1, like it pulled down. So during the day, like we were getting ready for dinner, when we were getting dressed, or if we just like at one point we went back to the cabin like on our day at sea to nap and things, it was just so nice to have it up out of the way while we were, you know, just out and about in our cabin. But then at night it would pull down. I love that the ladder was storable, so that you didn't have to leave the ladder out all the time. There had bed rails on it, so I never had to worry about Sarah rolling out of bed, and she never did. And then Sarah's favorite thing about it was, oh Sarah, what was your favorite thing about the bunk bed? The stars. The Disney Dream bunk beds have stars on the roof. What characters were on there?
There's a constellation of Tinkerbell and Peter Pan.
Tinkerbell and Peter Pan and Wendy and Michael and John. The cute part about John is that like it had John, and then it still had his little teddy bear in his hand. But you could tell from the stars on there, right?
Yes.
The first thing she spotted was Tinkerbell, like right off the bat. Was that your absolute favorite thing about the room, was the stars at night?
Yes.
The other favorite thing that I loved about it was at night when the pull down bed came down, there was a wall light on there that Rebecca used as like her little night light, and she slept great every night because she usually prefers a night light, but the older 2 don't. So we have like a night light in the hallway outside their room. But for the cruise, it was like she had her own little personal night light. And then we also packed a nightlight from the Dollar Tree. You can get Disney nightlights there, different kinds. There was Frozen, Mickey, Minnie. I think the one we used in our room was Minnie, and then they used Frozen in the other room. So it wasn't like, I mean, you're out in the middle of the ocean at night. So it was, you know, other than the lights of the ship, it's pitch dark. So we had that. We did have a mini nightlight on the wall. But my favorite thing about the pull-down bed too was that there was that nightlight on the wall when the bed was still pulled down, and she still had her own little nightlight at night. And then of course, my number one thing about a Disney veranda room is the veranda. So it was so nice at night and in the morning to be able to just go out and you get that fresh, salty air and you can look out. My favorite thing was the third morning was we were sailing into Castaway Cay, and we got up at like 6:30 because, I mean, it was already getting light out, and I heard seagulls, and I could go out on my veranda and I saw the seagulls, and I could watch as we were approaching Castaway Cay. Like, quite a bit of our video was us approaching Castaway Cay because it was just so, it was just one of those moments that, like, you had to have been there, just like standing on your veranda with your family and watching your ship come into Disney's private island. It was just like an experience that you can't really explain. And it was just so cool. And then, like, you know, when we went, like, after dinner our first night, we went and we were pulling away from Nassau, and just like watching the waves break on the side of the ship, and you can look out, and that scene from Moana where you see that line where the sky meets the sea, and just to see that and just look out across the horizon. And then a couple of times we got like some really cool pictures and just looking out of the clouds and the sunsets and the sunrises. And it was one of those little moments. It was just like, oh, this is amazing. So those are our top 5 favorite things about the Disney Dream cabins. Now the Fantasy is a sister ship, so it should be fairly similar. Some of the designs are a little bit different. In the comments below, what is your favorite thing about any of the current 4 Disney ships in 2018 filming this, the 4 ships that they have right now? What is your favorite thing about their cabins? If you are interested in booking a Disney Dream vacation and you have not booked yet, the link to our Facebook page is in the comments below, and you can message me there and I will answer all of your questions you have. And if you don't know, I will find the answers for you. But yeah, I would love to help people book their Disney Dream vacations, because for me, it was a Disney Dream, and I loved our Disney cruise so much. So now I'm so excited to be able to help everybody else book their dream Disney cruise. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.